Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vandachari Yamuna Tira Vandachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Today we'll be starting with the next chapter. We'll be studying Canto 3. Prabhuji, would you be able to turn number 3 down? We'll start with Canto 3, Chapter 25, The Glories of Devotional Service. Shaunaka Uvacha Kapilaha Tattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atmamayaya Jataha Swayam Ajaha Sakshat Atma Pragnaptaye Atma Pragnaptaye Nrinam Shaunaka Uvacha Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Jata Swayam Ajas Sakshar Atma Pragnaptaye Nrinam Shaunaka Uvacha Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Jata Swayam Aja Sakshar Atma Pragnaptaye Nrinam Shaunaka Uvacha Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Jata Swayam Aja Sakshar Atma Pragnaptaye Nrinam.
Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Sonaka Vacha Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Tata Swayamaja Sakshat Atma Pragyaptaye Nunam.
Shanaka Uvacha Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atmamayaya Jata Swayam Aja Sakshad Atma Pragyaptaye Nirnam.
Shanaka Uvacha Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Jata Swayam Aja Sakshat Atma Pragyaptaye Nrinam
Shanaka Uvacha Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Jata Swayam Aja Sakshat Atma Pragyaptaye Nunam
Shanaka Uvacha Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Bhagwan Atma Mayaya Jata Swayam Aja Sakshat Atma Pragnaptaye Niram.
Okay, Red Stali Mataji.
Shanaka Uvacha Kapilas Tattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Jata Swayam Aja Sakshad Atma Pragyaptaye Nrinam.
Mother Rachna.
Shaunak Uvacha Kapilastattva Sankyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Jata Swayam Ajak Shakshat Atma Pragnapate Nrinam.
Atma Pragyaptaye Nrinam.
शौनक उवाच
Anaka Uvacha.
कपिलस्तत्त्वसङ्ख्याता
Kapilastattva Sankhyata.
भगवान् आत्ममायया
Bhagavan Atma Mayaya.
जातः स्वयम् अज साक्षात्
Jata Swayam Aja Sakshat.
आत्मप्रज्ञप्तये नृणाम्
Atma Pragyaptaye Nrinam.
Akarshni Hari Prana.
Shaunaka uvacha
Anaka Uvacha.
Kapilastattva sankhyata
Kapilastattva Sankhyata.
Bhagavan Atma Mayaya
Bhagavan Atma Mayaya.
Jata Swayam Aja Sakshat
Jata Swayam Aja Sakshat.
Atma Pragnaptaye Nrinam.
Atma Pragyaptaye Nrinam.
Sorry, Mathasara Mangala. Sorry.
Shaunaka Uvacha
Shaunaka Uvacha.
Kapilastattva Sankhyata
Kapilastattva Sankhyata.
Bhagavan Atma Mayaya
Bhagavan Atma Mayaya.
Jataha Swayamajah Sakshat
Jata Swayam Aja Sakshat.
Atma Pragnaptaye Nrinam.
Atma Pragyaptaye Nrinam.
Shaunaka Vacha.
Shaunaka Uvacha.
Sri Shaunaka said,
Shaunaka said,
Kapilaha,
Kapilaha,
Lord Kapila,
Lord Kapila,
Tattva
Tattva
of the truth,
of the truth,
Samgyata,
Sankhyata,
the expounder,
the expounder,
Bhagavan,
Bhagavan,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Atma Mayaya,
Atma Mayaya,
by his internal potency,
by his internal potency,
Jataha,
Jataha,
took birth, Swayam, himself, Ajaha, unborn, Sakshat, in person, Atma Pragnaptaye, to disseminate transcendental knowledge, Nrinam, for the human race. Sri Shaunaka said, although he is unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth as Kapila Muni by his internal potency. He descended to disseminate transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the whole human race. Purport. The word Atma Pragnaptaye indicates that the Lord descends for the benefit of the human race to give transcendental knowledge. Material necessities are quite sufficiently provided for in the Vedic knowledge, which offers a program for good living conditions and gradual elevation to the platform of goodness. In the mode of goodness, one's knowledge expands. On the platform of passion, there is no knowledge, for passion is simply an impetus to enjoy material benefits. On the platform of ignorance, there is no knowledge and no enjoyment, but simply life, almost like that of animals. The Vedas are meant to elevate one from the mode of ignorance to the platform of goodness. When one is situated in the mode of goodness, he is able to understand knowledge of the self, or transcendental knowledge. This knowledge cannot be appreciated by any ordinary man. Therefore, since a disciplic succession is required, this knowledge is expounded either by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself or by his bona fide devotee. Shaunaka Muni also states here that Kapila, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, took birth or appeared simply to appreciate and disseminate transcendental knowledge. Simply to understand that one is not matter, but spirit soul, ahang brahmasmi, I am by nature Brahman, is not sufficient knowledge for understanding the self and his activities. One must be situated in the activities of Brahman. Knowledge of those activities is explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Such transcendental knowledge can be appreciated in human society, but not in animal society, as clearly indicated here by the word nrinam, quote, for the human beings. Human beings are meant for regulated life. By nature there is regulation in animal life also, but that is not like the regulative life as described in the scriptures or by the authorities. Human life is regulated life, not animal life. In regulated life only can one understand transcendental knowledge. Hare Krishna, thank you for being here. Please let us know if there's any comments. We'll be looking out for those. And Hare Krishna. So here we jump back to Shaunaka Rishi. And Shaunaka Muni, or Shaunaka Rishi, is Sri Shaunaka is now speaking to his audience. And we heard him actually describing the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. And now we zoomed out a little bit further, and Shaunaka is speaking now. And he is summarizing the purpose and the nature of Lord Kapila Dev's incarnations. So there's a few verses which I think would further glorify these points from the Bhagavad Gita. We can find one which is most, or I would say maybe also something that you're thinking of, but there's some verses from the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita which speak about transcendental knowledge. And this verse is speaking just about how Kardamuni descended just to share this knowledge. So here we have from the fourth chapter, it says, fourth chapter, text number 6. So actually maybe I just put it on the screen and everybody can chant if they like. You may know this verse very well. Chapter 4 and text number 6. Okay, so let us chant this together. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim swamadishtaya sambhavam yatma mayaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So then, next text. It's a big purport, verse 6. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So this word srijami is specifically mentioned here. Srijami, right? Atmanam srijam yaham. I myself manifest. Right? That means Atma Maya. By his internal energy, he can appear Whenever he wants, in whatever form he wants, he can appear as the son of Karma Muni, and that he did. What is the purpose? To actually instill religious principles into human society. The topmost of religious principles is actually transcendental knowledge. So, the verse that we heard today speaks a little bit also about the purpose of Lord Kapila Dev's incarnation, and that one we can hear from text number 8. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. And text 9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattataha tattadeham punar janma naiti mam eti sorjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So now we'll jump back to the verse from today. And so Prabhupada in the purport discusses how Lord Kapila Dev descended specifically for the humans, not for the animals, right? And it's discussed many times. Prabhupada discusses that the dogs and the cats, they cannot come to Srimad Bhagavatam class in the same way. Now, there are instances of great souls in the animal forms of life who are eager for Krishna Katha or Hare Katha, like Bharat Maharaj took his birth as a deer, and he was hungry. He was thirsty for the Hare Kathamritam, that he wanted to drink with his ears, even his deer ears. He wanted to drink that Hare Katha from the sages. And he found them and he associated with them for the purpose of hearing. So this is very rare. Generally speaking, such transcendental knowledge falls on deaf ears within the animal species. And humans are meant to take up this mission, right? The Ninam. And it's stated that this Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, this is the Purusharthas. These are the 4 principles or 4 goals of human society. And when such principles are not there in human society, then it's an animal society. And specifically, Dharma is what makes it different. Of course, there's no question of moksha without, Dharma. And, more or less the animals are just simply receiving their karma, and there's no additional opportunities for deliberate advancement in the means of artha, getting material benefits by practicing religion, and then enjoying the material benefits, kama, and then ultimately getting tired of all the material benefits and seeking after moksha. What to speak of the 5th Purushartha, which is prema. Prema Maharto Mahan. This is the ultimate objective of human society, is to develop love for God. And this is what Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended to give. This is the same thing that Kapila Muni has descended to give. There is no chance of practicing or living on the transcendental platform, being eligible for receiving prema without being situated on the human platform. And so Prabhupada in this purport, he discusses that in the Vedas, all the material necessities are provided for. You won't be missing anything if you actually follow the Vedas. You know? You'll get your enjoyment, right? If you follow the Vedas, then you're performing dharma. And you'll get your material benefits, artha. You'll get your kama. There's no question about it. Whatever you want, you will get. It's stated that the Vedas are like a desire tree. Right? The Vedas are like a desire tree. You can get whatever you want from there. But Lord Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, those who are actually, attracted by the flowery words of the Vedas, right, then they don't end up getting the supreme goal. And that's actually discussed in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? This is a working copy up here, so if the verse number is changed, it's because it's getting used in all the different classes. So, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Okay, let me put it on the screen again. Database 15.1. Okay, this is a really nice verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Mulam Madashakam Ashvatam Prahuravyayam Chandangsi Yasya Parnani Yastang Veda Savedavit. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas." So, Prabhupada will go on, and it says, "The tree of this material world has no end, and for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. This tree's roots grow upward because they begin from where Brahma is located, the topmost planet of the universe. If one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it." So then, this process of extrication should be understood. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of the material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. So this is exactly what Kapila Muni will actually discuss with his mother Devahuti, the glories of devotional service, how this is the best way to get out of the material entanglement, right? And there's a part of this that I wanted to mention. It says, "The fruits represent the results of the living entity's activities, namely religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation." It says, "One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through analytical study. Then he can cut off his relationship with it." So Kapila Muni, this Sankhya philosophy, which culminates in devotional service, this is how we can analyze the material world and our entanglement here and ultimately get out of it. So, let's jump back to the verse. And so this is for the human society. And Prabhupada takes some time to discuss the different modes of nature. And in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, then there are different topics which are discussed about the modes of material nature. Or actually, I was reading in the 14th chapter. So 14.22 has some amazing content in the concerning the three modes of nature, chapter 14. We're actually going to read this now, starting today from this evening in the temple. And the text 21 and then 22 through 25 are very amazing because they discuss about how to get out of these modes. We understood from the purport that Srila Prabhupada gave that we cannot understand transcendental knowledge if we're not in a mode of goodness, right? But we have to understand, how do you get to mode of goodness? And that's why Kapila Dev, he's going to speak about the glories of devotional service. The glories of devotional service are so amazing, right, that the Srimad Bhagavatam just talks about devotional service. It doesn't talk about dharma, artha, moksha, kama. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. It just speaks about devotional service. So then, if we can't understand transcendental knowledge until we come to goodness, right, then the conclusion is, if Srimad Bhagavatam is perfect, then coming to mode of goodness must be included in devotional service. And that's actually given in the Bhagavad Gita verbatim. So let's go to 21, chapter 14, text 21. And this verse is very nice. It says, please feel free to chant along. Arjuna uvacha karlingaistrin gunanetan atito bhavati prabhu kim achara katam chaitams trin gunan ativartate. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known to who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior? And how does he transcend the modes of nature? Then, Prabhupada says, these are very good questions. These three questions are very good. Now, in this verse, actually rather, I'll just show you, because Prabhupada speaks about this point in the purport that we read today. Human society is meant to be living regulated lives. Prabhupada speaks about that here. I'll read this purport. It's small, so in this verse, Arjuna's questions are very appropriate. He wants to know the symptoms of a person who has already transcended the material modes. He first inquires of the symptoms of such a transcendental person. How can one understand that he has already transcended the influence of the modes of material nature? Did I already do it? Or what do I have, This is 21. The second question asks how he lives and what his activities are. Are they regulated or non-regulated? So this is the point I was trying to make. In the purport from today's Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says that human society are meant to live regulated lives. There's another verse from the Gita, there's many actually, and that speak about regulation for the human beings, right? We know there's the verse which states, Yukta hara viharasya yukta chetasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodasya yogo bhavati dukkha. You can remove all the material miseries by being regulated in your habits of eating, sleeping, mating, and recreation. And there's others that speak about the importance of following the Shastra, which is the supreme form of regulation, and that's actually the essence of Dharma. Dharma means that which is given by God. Dharman susakshat bhagavat pranitam. So this, I'll finish here. Then Arjuna inquires of the means by which he can attain the transcendental nature. That is very important. Unless one knows the direct means by which one can be situated always transcendentally, there is no possibility of showing the symptoms. We have to know how to do it. That is why Lord Kapila Dev has descended to teach us how to do it. And specifically, he's going to teach Devahuti how to do it, and then, like that. So all these questions put by Arjuna are very important, and the Lord answers them. Okay? So now 22 through 25. So we'll jump past this Sanskrit and we'll read the translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. So these are the symptoms. Now, in this purport, we can read this. Arjuna submitted 3 different questions, and the Lord answers them one after another. In these verses, Krishna first indicates that a person transcendently situated has no envy and does not hanker for anything. So these are actually modes of passion and ignorance. When a living entity stays in this material world embodied by the material body, it is to be understood that he is under the control of one of the 3 modes of material nature. When he is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of the material modes of nature. As long as he is not out of the material body, he should be neutral. He should engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. But when one transfers the consciousness to Krishna, sense gratification automatically stops. One does not need this material body, and he does not need to accept the dictations of the material body. The qualities of the material modes in the body will act, but as spirit soul, the self is aloof from such activities. How does he become aloof? He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. Thus, transcendentally situated, the devotee becomes automatically free. He need not try to become free from the influence of the modes of material nature. So this is saying, right? If you want to understand transcendental knowledge, it's not possible while you're under the material modes, right? But if you perform devotional service, then you automatically come to the mode of goodness, even higher than that, actually. And Prabhupada then, in the purport from today, he discusses how Brahman, right? He speaks about this thing, aham brahmasmi. And this discussion of aham brahmasmi, right? This is also found here in the 14th chapter, because at the end of the 14th chapter, Lord Krishna says that he is the basis of the impersonal Brahman. And Prabhupada describes how if one is actually situated in devotional service, right, then he comes to the level of Brahman. That's what Krishna says in the 26th verse of chapter 14. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Right? So this knowledge that I am Brahman, Prabhupada describes, he's not actually in the Brahman position. He has not fully realized it, right? But if he starts, right? If he starts serving Krishna according to 9 processes of devotional service, then he's actually in Brahman, right? And as long as he doesn't take to devotional service, which we've been hearing in the 13th chapter, right? Then he can fall down at any time. the 12th chapter we were hearing, the impersonal conception. One who's in the impersonal conception without any devotional service, he has every risk to fall back down, right? So if one wants to be actually on the Brahman platform, then he has to take the devotional service, which will be disseminated by Kapila Muni. And one can actually take up the Lord's service and be situated nicely. So this is the purpose of human life. And if we don't take to this life, this regulated life of devotional service according to the Shastras and the Guru Parampara, then there will be no happiness in this life or the next. Na sukham, na param gatim. We will not get to the supreme destination, neither will we even be happy. So this is actually the amazing opportunity in Kali Yuga, is we don't have a complicated system of dharma to execute, we simply have to chant. Why all this philosophy? Really, to help us just take to devotional service. The Lord is here, the Lord is here, the Lord is in the holy name, right? We just serve Him. As servants of the Guru Parampara, we just serve Him. And everything will be taken care of. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Does anybody have anything? Anybody online? Okay.
Okay, Mother, you can go.
Hare Krishna. In Canto 1, Sut Goswami is explaining a very nice sequence, like how we can get rid of the modes
We
of
can't really
material
hear you that
nature.
well. Wait, hold on. I think I know why. Okay, try again.
I'm saying in Canto 1, Sut Goswami is explaining very nicely that how can we get rid of material modes of nature. So he's saying, like, there is one verse, Shushruso Shradhana se Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. Like when one serves the pure devotees of the Lord, then he gets ruchi or taste in hearing about the Lord. And then when he regularly hears the Bhagavatam class, plus he renders service to those devotees, then what happens that the taste for serving the Lord arises in his heart, very firm faith for serving the Lord. And then he says, like, when that faith is there in his heart and he starts serving the Lord, then by the mercy of the Lord, the effects of modes of nature like passion and ignorance, which is like lust, desire, hankering, whatever, they disappear from his heart and he becomes situated in the mode of goodness and he becomes completely happy. So that was the words like tada rajastamo bhava kama lobha dayashaya cheta eta anavidyam stitam satve prasiddhati. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Serve the great souls and continually hear the Srimad Bhagavatam and pastimes of the Lord in association of devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the simple devotees.